Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss an important topic called generating business ideas. If you want to be successful in life, you have to turn ideas into services, ideas into products, and then you can be successful. Then you can have what we call security. Many a times we take the path of least resistance, and that is we want a job that will pay us every month, and that is a nine to five routine, and that is assured that at the end of the month you are going to um, get paid. So that is one security, but doesn't guarantee a success. So today I'm going to have with me here a guest, and he's going to lead us through this discussion. I'm inviting the guest, and we will start a discussion.
Good morning.
Good. It's afternoon here,
Oh,
Doctor.
good
Yeah,
afternoon.
afternoon, Doctor.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us, and I'm glad you are here today to help us uh, discuss this important discussion. And the discussion, I say discussion because viewers can contribute. We are also contribute what we can. Uh, the discussion today is generating business ideas. In fact, if you want to be successful, you have to have ideas and have to change your ideas into services, goods, and products. And how do you actually come by ideas? And that's what we are going to discuss today. My name is Owusu Atakra, and gladly I have with me here Dr. Amakri, who is going to lead the discussion, and I'll be the linguist and the moderator for this discussion. Doctor, you are welcome. The discussion today is generating business ideas.
Thank you very much. Let me say straight away that I'm grateful that we are having this topic. It is central to what we've been talking about for weeks now. But can I just start by saying that consultants are idea generators. So you are in the right place if you are expecting how to generate business ideas. We're talking business ideas. Clearly, there are philosophical ideas, geographical ideas, economic ideas. We are going to be concentrating on business ideas. Last week, you remember, we talked about the reason why we ought to start a business. Today, we're going to talk about how to generate the ideas that will become businesses in future. I start by saying that ideas are the beginning, if you like, the nucleus of any business. Every business you know today, some of them mega rich, like Amazon, started with an idea. It started with an idea in the head of the founder. You wake up and it is nagging you, and you just have to give it birth. You have to give birth to it. So let's dive straight in. Ideas. One of the well-known ways of generating ideas is what we call brainstorming. Now, that sounds scary to storm brain, but brainstorming is now a well-known technique for generating ideas. If you don't have ideas and you want to generate ideas, you can get together a group of people, clearly interested and qualified people, to brainstorm. Brainstorming is a session in which no idea is wrong. No idea will be shut down straight. No idea will be rejected. Every idea will be taken note of, and everyone's idea would be of equal ranking. In a good brainstorming session, ideas are generated in thousands and all written down or pinned to your forehead, if you like. You can put it on your forehead, but it would be good if one person is moderating, the person who wants the ideas. I don't want to speak too much about it because Atakura knows all about it. Mm-hmm. That's what he does with his freshers when they first come in September. He invites them to say what's on their mind, announces first the topic so nobody strays too far away from the topic. I think that's the only rule in brainstorming. You must stick with the topic. But given that you're sticking to the topic, no idea is excluded. So I was saying that's what lecturers like Owusu does with his freshers. And they can brainstorm, and you won't believe how much good ideas he gets each year from this group. So we're going to be talking about brainstorming. And if anybody wants a full discussion of brainstorming, then we can talk about that later, not in this session. This session is, as I see it, a review of all the tools available to the consultants to generate ideas. Now, in some serious situations, you bring together the idea generators, lock them up, and throw away the key, and tell them that you want them to give all the ideas before the room is opened for them to be let out. That's what advanced countries do. If there is a problem, they get all their professors in, or the eggheads, the experts, lock them up and tell them, I want an answer, and before you are released. So they go to work in most cases. And this was very clear during COVID, when SAGE was a body that was charged with giving clearly someone else who doesn't have an idea what to do, but who owns the problem, like the Prime Minister, but he wanted an answer. And boy, did they give him one. That is why today we can say that we know what COVID is and how to cope with it. And we are living with COVID. So enough about brainstorming. Let me put it, bring in the spiritual aspect as well. You know that Christians know that God created the earth and all the things in it. But he didn't finish. He didn't say he has completely finished. Hence, there is Uber. Hence, there is vaccines. Hence, there is penicillin. Hence, there are many, many things. God said, you now that I created, go and change the world. Go and populate it, multiply, do anything you can. And we receive the blessing of God to generate ideas that will enable us continue the work of creation. And I think the Bible says it, that we are glad, and it is beautiful in our sight what human beings have turned this earth into, and there is no end to it. It's coming thick and fast. Whether you do it or not, others are doing it. So you might as well, I might as well generate new ideas. Thank you very much. That's by way of introduction.
Thank you, Doctor, for the detailed introduction here. I've listened to the introduction carefully, and I've picked some good points from it. In fact, everything there was so good. But there is this question I want to ask you, Doctor. Just get into the latter part of the introduction. You said that, you mentioned companies like Uber, those who created the vaccines. I think, what's the name of this company? AstraZeneca, and so on and so on. In fact, you mentioned so many solutions to problems. So do you mean, or does it mean that ideas are born by problems?
Yes. In other words, not born by problems, because there are people who are not in the business of solving problems. They know there is a problem, and they do other things. I don't want to mention countries in which all they do is produce children. They are not thinking about what they will eat, how they will go to school, what jobs will be there when they grow up. Whereas there are some people who are so worried that the population of the earth is so high that we need to have solutions, even in food production. So there is a crisis in food security. There is a crisis. I mean, yes, you're right. In a way, problems give rise to solutions, and the solutions should be very many ideas. It's not only one. At the time, one solution could be the solution to the problem, but that can change over time. For example, there was a time when in transportation, all you had to do was go to a taxi company and book a ride to take you to the airport. That was all right. But along came Uber to say you can do it from your bed, from your bedroom. However, that brings the next issue. The solution would depend on technology that is available. I mean, at the time when I had to go to a taxi company, physically go, not even phone, physically go to a taxi company, and they tell me, oh, it will be 1 hour or 30 minutes before there's a taxi available. Right. At that time, I didn't have a smartphone. Now, with a smartphone, I can do everything. It's crazy even to get into your car and say, I'm driving to the taxi company to book a cab. Okay? So, yes, solutions and problems are related, but they are also constrained by the technology that is available. We are going to take it for granted in this discussion that technology is available and the ideas are just to be generated to make use of the technology that is already available. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor. Yeah, so thank you, Doctor, for that. So what I could probably say is that, in fact, just like you said about some countries whose, I mean, they are engulfed in problems. And I know the more the problems, the more the opportunities to create wealth. But when you decide, blatantly to neglect your problems, then in a way you shun your success. So I think that is what I can also say. In addition to that, that's what I can actually say here. Now,
Yes.
Doctor, do you have anything to say to what I've
Yes.
just?
Yes. I was just going to say, like the majority of people in the world, you can either confront the problem, generate the ideas, choose the right one for that time, and implement it and solve the problem. You can ignore the problem. So there is a kind of prioritizing that needs to take place. Do you want to solve the problem? To solve the problem, you have to identify it. But do you really want to solve the problem? Now, the best solutions are always the simplest one. Again, I want you to appreciate how complex this issue we're discussing is. And it's very interesting, very, very interesting in the sense that depending on your priorities, you can decide which problem comes first. Do you want to solve climate change problems before you have electric cars? Do you want to solve one before the other? Or do you want to solve all? Obviously, you cannot. There is not enough time in the world to solve all of them at the same time. In fact, some of them we don't even know them yet. The 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 environment will throw up new problems as we solve old ones. However, once one is solved, there is another one. Let's not theorize too much. Let's look at the business environment. In business, you want to go to the market very quickly. You don't have a lifetime to generate solutions like professors in the universities. No wonder they are not always the most comfortable. They are not the most comfortable because all they do is generate the ideas. So I'm hoping that next week we will go from ideas generation, which is what we are concentrating on, to implementation. Now, I want to underline, meanwhile, the role of the consultant in generating the problems and generating, not just generate and say, oh, I need to get from here to Abu Dhabi and I want to do it in the shortest possible time. That's you are stating the problem. There are many ways of doing it. There's Hyperloop now. You can do it in half an hour. However, it may be too expensive to do it that way. So there are choices, always choices to be made. It is the businessman's role to pick the simplest solution. When I say simple, take the iPhone, for example. There was a time when even to have any mobile phone, any phone at all, you need a book, you need a catalog, you need information leaflets that will fill a bucket. But now, with the iPhone, even an 8-year-old will be able to play with it and work out how to use it. In other words, the idea for an idea to be implemented, it must be very, very simple. It is the simplest solution to a problem that is business ready, that is ready for us business people to play. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Well, there is this saying which I've heard it many times that if you want if you want to have ideas, you must have problems. I can give a typical example, like um, Richard Branson. I think the first time he came up with this airline business when um, I think he got stuck in South America. He was coming to UK and the flight was cancelled. He looked around and decided that, oh, well, if I rent a flight from here to UK, how much is going to cost? And then, he gathered around those who were stuck there and got them on the flight and charged them. He got here and we're like, oh no, this could be a business. So, Doctor, what's your take about this? That, to generate ideas, business ideas, you have to have problems. And I think this will also take us to innovation.
Yes.
What's your take about this?
Okay. Thank you very much. This is a very interesting aspect of ideas generation. It is not always true that in order to have a solution, you have to have a problem. Sometimes you can create the problem. In fact, many people say, mobile phones, how did we live our lives without them? In other words, they should have been there all this time, but it took all these years for it to to become a reality. What I'm saying is, you don't sometimes the idea generator puts the idea in the head of the society. It's like you, the innovator, tells the society, hey, wake up, you need this. So, for example, in Africa, you might think, what does a market woman need a phone for? Up to now, it worked. She put her money in her next to her breast, and it was safe. But now she wants a bank account. How come all this time she didn't have one? What I'm trying to illustrate, and it's a difficult concept, that you don't need a problem before you present the solution. You present the solution if you have it. If you have it, then everybody is going to say, oh my God, how come we didn't do this? In other words, in some societies, they don't even know what the problem is. They think they don't have a problem. In fact, they live so long, they eat well, they are strong, but they have a problem. Only the consultant has identified. The consultant has identified and given them a solution, and they're paying for it in their millions. So the two work together, problems and solutions. And we as consultants are in the business of A, identifying the problems, B, providing the solutions. But one can be before the other. It's chicken and egg. Which comes first? Is it the chicken? But who laid is it the chicken? Yeah, but the chicken hatched from an egg. Who laid the egg? It's chicken. So please, from now we will be thinking about the two things together. One can come before the other. And in business, we are in the business of identifying problems and even creating problems for the society. That's another topic for another day. But some problems have unintended consequences. You solve the problem, and without intending to, you create another problem which someone else is invited to solve. That is why I say we are blessed by the problems that we have and the solutions that are now available for us to solve them. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. This leads me to another question here, Doctor. That innovation and creativity, help somebody to spot opportunities.
Yes,
See an idea and then think of the idea as an opportunity to establish themselves in a gray area where nobody's taking, taking it serious or taking advantage of.
yes.
What's your take about this? Where innovation and creativity, helps, to spot an idea and turn this idea into business or success.
Good. Innovation comes in when something is done for the first time, different from what has been. If you don't like the status quo, the way things are now, the only option you have is to innovate, find a new way. So really, innovation is one more tool in the box of an ideas generator. We've only just managed to give them a name, but they are one and the same thing. If something didn't exist before and you create it, it's an innovation. If it was already there and you give people a different way of doing it, like I keep saying the one about transportation, Uber is a different way, but because it's so simple, more people adopt it and even abandon the old way. Innovation is an attempt to create something new, innovate. So we are invited to innovate, to create new things. Also, creativity is another related topic. To innovate, it has to be so completely dramatic, different from the old. I'm sure cassette players. We had cassette players. In fact, I don't know how many still have. Maybe you do, but cassette players don't exist anymore because we had discs. Well, even now discs. Some computers don't have disk drives. So look at the journey. First, we had record players, those big record players that turn at 33 1/3 rounds per minute. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
They're breakable record players. Okay, they gave way immediately. Cassette players came along. Cassette players gave way immediately to compact discs, CDs. CDs were the rage. Then there were two sizes of CDs. The smaller one that could even hold more. Now I can go on. And now we don't even have CDs. We have MP3. Now, each stage is an innovation. And it is an innovation that, unfortunately, it's so dramatic, it drives out the old one. In some cases, the two exist. The poorer people or people who couldn't afford it will stay with the old, whereas others will move on. So there was VHS and there's Betamax in video recording, and so on and so forth. You can have innovation, you can have creativity, but the two work together. A more creative effort results in an innovation that people go, wow, this is out of this world. How did we live without this for centuries? Now, some of it takes ages to come about, but look how fast the COVID injections. Look, within people, we used to have things like that come along 10 years. People put their mind to it, and it takes them 10 years to go from the lab to the market. This time, it took less than 6 months. Again, the quicker you want it, the more resources you have to pour into it, admittedly. However, in most cases, it does take time. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I think we are getting to the end of the discussion. And I've got a few things here to say, and that's, I think if you have an idea and you put the idea into use, it becomes a business. You are serving people. And what I can also say here, Doctor, I think maybe you can correct me or you can contribute to this. What I'm trying to say here is that the degree of our success is directly linked with the extent to which we solve problems.
That's
And
correct. That's
yes,
correct.
yes, Doc, I think if you have anything else to add to this, because I know this is a fact, which in fact myself here, I can attest to that.
Yes.
Do
The
you
more,
have anything? Yeah.
sorry, I was going to say, the more progressive a society is, the faster it adopts solutions. There are some societies that are so outward looking, they can't wait for the innovators to get off the drawing board and come to the market with their ideas. There are some societies that take ages. They don't have what we call the early adopters, people who adopt the technology that's now available very quickly. Even before it comes off the shelf, they've picked it. Electric cars are an example. They have been available for a while, but because some people are slow to adopt them, it's taking ages. And yet, it is so clear that that is the direction of travel. In some societies, they've put deadlines. They are fed up with waiting, so they've given themselves deadlines by which time certain things have to be done. So yes, it is true that problems exist, hundreds of them, but it takes the businessman, the business. Sorry, I don't want to be sexist here. The businessman or woman to run with it, to take a risk and adopt it and bring it to the market. So in a summary, the whole discussion about ideas generation makes sense in business if you have an organization that combines the factors of production to bring about a solution to one problem at a time. I know there are some geniuses who can solve multiple problems at the same time, but we are talking about ordinary mortals like us who need to concentrate on one problem and bring about a solution. And I assure you, if the solution is good, you would be laughing your way to the bank, in the sense that millions of people will drop whatever they are doing before, which didn't work or didn't serve them well, and adopt it. There are also ideas whose time have come. In other words, you make very little effort, low-hanging fruit. A low-hanging fruit is a fruit you don't need a ladder to climb the tree. You can just take it. Now, low-hanging fruits is what we're talking about here. We are specialists in pointing out to people the low-hanging fruits that are all around us. It just needs for you to keep your eyes open, and you will get one of them. But one at a time. Concentrate on it, and you will get to the market faster than everybody else, and the rest will be history, as they say. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So we bring the discussion to an end, and today's discussion has been generating business ideas. And lastly, Doctor just said that if you generate good business ideas and serve people, you'll be laughing your way to the bank. Yes, your success is linked to how much you serve people. We are interdependent. We serve each other, and if you generate ideas, turn the idea into business, and you decide to serve people, in fact, your reward takes care of itself. The reward takes care of itself. The moment you serve people, the reward takes care of itself. So this is Skills Pro once again here. I'm here myself, Owusu Atakwa, with Dr. Amakri, and we hope to see you a week today, the same time. Thank you all for watching, and subscribe to us if you want anything from us. Dr. Amakri is renowned consultant, an engineer, and a business guru himself. He's also a lecturer and teaches consultancy and engineering. Please do get to us if you have any problem. My number is 07500 829 321. I repeat the number again, 07500 829 321. 07500 829 321. If you are calling from outside UK, please remember to add a +44. Thank you all, and we see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.